All right, well, taking a turn and talking about something much more serious, violence in Venezuela. A civil war has been sparked as a result of Nicolas Maduro, the dictator there, refusing to allow aid, meaning food, humanitarian aid, medical supplies into the country yesterday on the Colombian border. The recognized President Juan Guaido by the United States and other about 50 democracies around the world. He was on the border yesterday trying to get that aid through. And now we're having some trouble and violence is breaking out. Maduro is firing on his own people. There are some military defections happening. They are still loyal to Maduro, but there are some people defecting. But it's getting worse.
Absolutely. And not many defectors yet. That is going to play out. You're likely going to see scenes again today that we saw yesterday as the National Guard troops there opening fire on protesters. 2 killed, hundreds injured. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is responding, saying this: now is the time to act in support of democracy and respond to the needs of the desperate Venezuelan people. The United States will take action against and hold accountable those who oppose the peaceful restoration of democracy in Venezuela.
This is a big clash. The White House has gone fully behind Guaido. They've called on Maduro to step down. Maduro has doubled down on his dictatorship. His people are suffering. He doesn't care. They tried to deliver aid across the border. Now Venezuela has severed ties with Colombia, where the aid was supposed to come through. I believe it's John Bolton, our national security director, will be staying there as opposed to coming to North Korea. So this administration taking it very, very seriously. But you wonder what the next steps are going to be, because we've invested in the other regime and it hasn't changed yet.
There certainly are plans in place that we have not heard of from the White House and the administration about what would happen if Maduro did not decide to step down voluntarily. They've offered him asylum in Cuba, for example. He is not taking that, and he's getting the Russians and the Chinese involved as well.
Yeah, I mean, Maduro, by the way, while this case is playing out, is dancing in the streets, and it is becoming a problem from some of the Democratic hopefuls on the 2020 campaign trail, like Bernie Sanders. Now, this is a flashback to when, I believe it was Tuesday, he was on another channel, Univision, in talking about refusing to call Maduro a dictator. Listen.
Is Nicolás Maduro a dictator, Senator, for you? And should he go?
All right, I think clearly he has been very, very abusive. That is a decision of the Venezuelan people.
And following up on that, Senator Bernie Sanders sent out a tweet recently, I think from Fantasyland. This is what the tweet said: the people of Venezuela are enduring a serious humanitarian crisis. The Maduro government must magically put the needs of its people first, allow humanitarian aid into the country, and refrain from violence against protesters. Of course, he's done none of those things. And there's no indication that he will do any of them without a reason to do so. We've flirted with military action. That's fraught with potential consequences, where the dictators don't just step down usually.
Yeah, and we're seeing that he has no interest in allowing aid from the United States or other governments to come in. Governor Mike Huckabee was on the show earlier today talking about this issue.
I think we're seeing what socialism ultimately breeds. It breeds discontent among the population, and it brings a power-hungry dictatorship among the leadership, because when you're oppressing people, as you do ultimately under socialism, the only way that you can keep the people subjected to that nonsense is that you have to use strong force and actually go out and hurt and kill them. That ought to be everything we need to know about whether or not we want to embrace socialism.
Yeah, I mean, this will be a big part of the presidential race in 2020.